There is a part of you that no one has ever seen, not the version that chases approval, not the one that breaks when life gets hard, not the one that loses himself the moment things fall apart. He waits in silence, buried under years of comfort, noise, fear, and distraction. Most people leave this world without ever meeting him. Not you, not anymore. Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that everything you spent decades building has disappeared. Your reputation, gone. Your savings, erased. The people who called themselves friends don't return your calls. The future you mapped out vanishes overnight. Most would call that a catastrophe. The Stoics called it an invitation. 2,000 years ago, men faced far greater losses than most of us will ever know. They watched empires crumble, buried their children, endured exile, slavery, betrayal, and the constant nearness of death. History remembers them, not because they avoided pain, but because life could wound their bodies and still never conquer their minds. That's why the names of Seneca, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, Musonius Rufus, and the Stoic teachers still live, while the emperors who tried to silence them have been forgotten. Today's world teaches you to run from discomfort. Every inconvenience gets removed before it can strengthen you. Every painful emotion gets numbed before it can teach you. Every challenge is treated as an enemy instead of the fire that shapes steel. Slowly, invisibly, this builds a person who looks successful on the outside but shatters on the inside. One rejection breaks his confidence. One failure erases his identity. One betrayal makes him believe life has defeated him. But the Stoics knew something we've forgotten. Nothing becomes strong in easy conditions. A sword is never forged without fire. Mountains are carved by storms, not sunshine. Diamonds are made under unbearable pressure. Nature follows one law. Anything that becomes extraordinary first endures what ordinary things cannot. In the next few minutes, you'll encounter 8 timeless principles that have survived over 2,000 years. These aren't classroom theories or motivational quotes that fade by morning. They are battle-tested truths that shaped emperors, philosophers, warriors, and ordinary people who refused to let the world decide the condition of their mind. If you let them sink in, these 8 ideas can change how you meet fear, pressure, uncertainty, and every storm life sends your way. This isn't casual listening. Somewhere in these words may be the single shift that alters how you think forever. So ask yourself before we begin, when the next storm arrives, and it will you be carried away like everything around you, or will you be the one who remains standing while the chaos rages? Rule 1. You don't command the sea, you command yourself. Stand at the shore when a storm rolls in. The waves don't ask your permission. The wind doesn't care about your plans. The sky doesn't pause because you wanted a calm day. Nature never negotiates, yet every seasoned sailor understands what the terrified passenger misses. Survival has never been about controlling the ocean. It's always been about controlling himself. This is the foundation of Stoicism. Not because it makes life easy, but because it makes you stronger than what happens to you. Every fear that keeps you awake, every disappointment that drains your energy, every anxiety about tomorrow starts from the same illusion that you're supposed to control things that were never yours to control. The moment you believe that illusion, your peace becomes a hostage to circumstances. Epictetus understood this better than almost anyone. Before he became a great philosopher, he lived as a slave. His body could be beaten. His future could be decided by another man's command. Yet his master could never own his mind, while others let suffering define them. Epictetus discovered the greatest weapon a human can possess. No one can imprison the person who refuses to give away the freedom of his own judgment. Most people exhaust themselves fighting invisible wars they were never meant to win. They try to control how others see them. They replay conversations that ended years ago. They chase approval from people who barely remember their name. They wrestle with outcomes that haven't even happened. Then, when reality refuses to obey, they call it personal failure. It was never weakness. It was the wrong battle entirely. Marcus Aurelius ruled the largest empire on earth. Yet every night he reminded himself, He could command armies, but not illness. He could govern nations, but not death. He could influence millions, but never control another human soul. If the most powerful man alive accepted those limits without resentment, why do we wreck our peace demanding control over things even emperors couldn't hold? Picture two men losing the same job on the same morning. One drowns in anger for months, blaming the economy, his boss, his luck, everything except the one place power still lives. The other allows himself one honest moment of disappointment, then asks, "What can I control before the sun sets today?" That single question changes everything. By evening, he's updated his resume, called old friends, learned something new, and taken the first step forward. Same loss, same world, completely different path. The Stoics never measured a person by what happened to them. They measured by the quality of their response. Pressure doesn't create character, it reveals it. The oak doesn't argue with the wind. The river doesn't rage at the mountain blocking its way. Fire doesn't complain that it burns. Nature accepts reality first and acts second. Only humans waste years fighting what's already happened, arguing with yesterday while tomorrow quietly slips away. From now on, practice one discipline that can reshape your life. When something painful happens, pause before emotion takes the wheel. Ask with total honesty, is this within my control? If not, release it without apology. If yes, stop complaining and act. Your energy is too precious for battles reality already decided. Master this first law, and you'll discover something remarkable. Life doesn't get easier. Storms don't shrink. People don't suddenly become gentle. But your inner stillness is no longer decided by the weather outside. And once that happens, the world loses its greatest weapon against you, because every unshakable mind begins the same way, by learning to stop chasing the wind and finally steer the sail. Rule 2. Willing hardship is the fire that shows you who you really are. Everyone wants the same thing, a painless life, a certain future, a smooth path where every door opens and every dream unfolds exactly as imagined. It sounds beautiful until you notice that nothing in nature grows powerful without first being uncomfortable. The strongest trees grow where the wind never stops. The deepest roots are driven down by drought, not by gentle rain. Nature never rewards comfort, it rewards adaptation. The modern world quietly teaches you that comfort equals success. Food arrives before hunger can teach patience. Entertainment fills every silence before reflection can take root. Answers appear before curiosity can build wisdom. Every small hardship is removed before resilience has a chance to grow. Day after day, your body becomes softer while your spirit grows weaker. Then one ordinary crisis enters your life, and suddenly you realize the real danger was never the crisis itself. It was all the years you spent becoming too comfortable to face it. Musonius Rufus saw this clearly 2 millennia ago. He warned that a person who never willingly steps into discomfort will eventually be dragged there by life. The difference is enormous. Chosen hardship strengthens character. Unexpected hardship exposes its absence. One prepares you, the other reveals you. Life always gives the same test. It only changes whether you studied beforehand. Imagine 2 swords lying side by side. One has never touched the fire. It shines, it looks flawless. The other has been heated until it glowed, hammered thousands of times, plunged into freezing water, and returned to the flames again and again. To the untrained eye, both appear equal. But the first real battle reveals the truth. One bends under pressure, the other becomes the reason the battle is won. Human character works the same way. Fire never destroys true strength, it uncovers it. Seneca understood this so deeply that he practiced poverty while surrounded by wealth. He wore rough clothing, ate plain food, slept without comfort, not because suffering was sacred, but because dependence was dangerous. Every voluntary discomfort whispered the same question: if everything you own vanished tomorrow, who would remain? That question terrified most people. Seneca wanted to answer it long before life forced the answer. Think about your own fears. Why does losing money feel unbearable? Why does rejection cut so deeply? Why does failure seem like the end of your identity? It's rarely because these events are truly unbearable. It's because your mind has never been trained to survive them. Fear grows strongest around experiences we've never willingly faced. The unknown always seems larger than reality. Soldiers train in exhaustion before they ever see a battlefield. Athletes push through pain when no one is watching. Ancient philosophers embraced discomfort that others spent their lives avoiding. They all understood a law history keeps proving: the body remembers what the mind forgets. Every hard thing you willingly survive becomes silent proof that you can survive the next one too. Confidence isn't built by positive thinking. It's built by remembered endurance. There's a deeper layer here most never discover. Voluntary hardship isn't training your muscles, it's training your identity. Every time you choose discipline over ease, patience over impulse, silence over reaction, you're casting a vote for the person you're becoming. Character is never formed in one dramatic moment. It's quietly sculpted through hundreds of invisible choices no one applauds and almost no one notices. Look at mountains. They didn't become magnificent overnight. Unimaginable pressure held steady for ages made them rise. Look at diamonds. They never begged the earth to remove the weight above them. The pressure became their beauty. Look at rivers. They don't complain about the rocks blocking their path. They grow stronger because something resisted them. Nature keeps whispering the same lesson. Resistance isn't your enemy. Resistance is your sculptor. So stop asking life to become easier. Ask yourself to become harder to break. Stop praying for smaller storms. Become the kind of person who can walk through bigger ones without losing peace. Every cold morning you don't surrender. Every difficult conversation you stop avoiding. Every temptation you choose not to feed. Every promise you keep when no one sees. These moments feel ordinary while they happen, but together they build a mind that circumstances can no longer intimidate. One day life will knock without warning. It won't ask if you feel ready. It won't care if the timing is fair. In that moment, you won't rise to the level of your wishes. You'll fall to the level of your preparation. The Stoics never feared hardship. They feared becoming the kind of person who needed comfort just to stay strong. Rule 3. Meet the disaster in your mind before life forces you to meet it. There's a strange truth about fear most people never learn. It's almost never created by reality. It's created by imagination. Long before life wounds you, your mind has already written 1,000 stories about how unbearable that wound will be. It convinces you that failure will destroy your identity, that rejection will erase your worth, that loss will leave you empty forever. Then one day you realize something astonishing. You were never fighting reality. You were fighting a story your own mind invented. The Stoics refused to become prisoners of imaginary disasters. While the rest of the world distracted itself from uncomfortable thoughts, they walked straight toward them. They asked questions most people spend a lifetime avoiding. What if I lose everything? What if the people I love leave? What if my plans collapse tomorrow? Not because they loved darkness, but because they understood that every fear loses part of its power the moment you look directly into its eyes. Seneca called this practice premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of adversity. To an outsider, it seemed pessimistic. In truth, it was one of the most liberating mental disciplines ever created. He knew what modern minds often forget. The unknown is always more terrifying than the known. Fear lives in shadows. It shrinks in light. A monster behind a closed door seems enormous until the door finally opens. Imagine walking through a dense forest after sunset. Every branch becomes a threat. Every sound becomes a predator. Every shadow seems alive. Your imagination builds dangers that never existed. Then morning comes, the same forest, the same trees. Yet nearly every fear disappears, not because the forest changed, but because darkness no longer controlled your perception. That's exactly what Stoic visualization does. It replaces emotional darkness with conscious awareness. Marcus Aurelius practiced this daily. Before leaving his room each morning, he reminded himself he would meet selfish people, dishonest people, arrogant people, impatient people, ungrateful people. Why? Because expectations create emotional suffering. Reality rarely does. The man who expects perfection gets broken by ordinary disappointment. The man who expects difficulty greets it like an old traveler meeting familiar roads. Most people secretly believe confidence comes from expecting everything to go well. The Stoics believed the opposite. Real confidence is born from knowing that even if everything goes wrong, you will remain yourself. The strongest person isn't the one who thinks disaster will never come. The strongest person is the one who has already decided who he'll be when it does. Think of a master chess player. Before touching a single piece, he's already imagined dozens of possible defeats. Every attack has been rehearsed, every sacrifice considered. Every dangerous position already existed in his mind long before it appeared on the board. When the unexpected happens, he doesn't panic, he recognizes it. His calm isn't natural talent, it's prepared awareness. He's visited that moment before. Life works the same way. One day your career may shift without warning. Someone you trusted may betray you. Illness may enter your home. The future you designed may disappear overnight. The Stoics never asked whether these things would happen. They asked a far more important question. Who will I be when they do? Circumstances may arrive without permission, but character is always a decision. Here's the biggest misunderstanding about this practice. It's not about expecting tragedy. It's about removing its ability to surprise your soul. Surprise creates panic. Preparation creates presence. Panic clouds judgment. Presence reveals solutions. The event may be exactly the same, but the mind experiencing it has become completely different. Nature shows this law with breathtaking simplicity. Before winter, trees release their leaves, rivers slow, birds prepare for migration long before the temperature drops. Nothing in nature waits for the storm before getting ready. Only humans convince themselves that preparation is pessimism. Then they wonder why unexpected hardship leaves them shattered. Spend a few quiet moments each week asking yourself difficult questions. If everything changed tomorrow, what values would remain untouched? If success disappeared, would your identity vanish with it? If the world stripped away your comfort, your possessions, your titles, and your applause, what part of you could never be taken? That's the part the Stoics spent their lives strengthening, because they knew anything life can take from you was never the foundation of lasting peace. The world tells you to think only positive thoughts. The Stoics taught something far more powerful. Think clearly. See reality before it arrives. Meet fear before fear meets you. Then when life finally knocks on your door, with suffering in its hands, it won't find a frightened victim waiting. It will find someone who has already opened that door in his mind and discovered that courage was standing there all along. Rule 4. The obstacle isn't blocking your way. It's showing you who you are. Everyone believes they're strong until life disagrees. It's easy to call yourself patient when nothing tests your patience. Easy to call yourself brave when nothing threatens what you love. Easy to believe you have inner peace while everything around you is going exactly as planned. But the moment life changes direction, the truth surfaces. Obstacles don't create character, they expose it. They reveal the person who was hiding beneath comfort all along. Most people spend their lives asking the wrong question. Why is this happening to me? They search for someone to blame: fate, bad luck, difficult people, the economy, their childhood, the unfairness of the world. Every answer gives temporary relief, but none of those answers make them stronger. The Stoics asked a completely different question. What is this obstacle trying to teach me that comfort never could? That single question turns suffering from an enemy into a teacher. Marcus Aurelius wrote something extraordinary while surrounded by war, disease, betrayal, and death. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Those words weren't written inside a peaceful palace by a man enjoying luxury. They were written by an emperor sleeping in military camps, watching friends die, carrying an empire on exhausted shoulders. He wasn't describing an ideal world. He was describing reality itself. Imagine a river flowing toward the sea. Eventually it meets a mountain of stone. The river doesn't complain. It doesn't waste centuries wishing the mountain were somewhere else. It simply moves differently, around the rock, beneath it, sometimes patiently carving through it, one drop at a time. Years pass, centuries pass. Eventually the mountain that looked permanent begins to disappear. The river wins not because it was stronger in a single moment, but because it refused to stop moving. Human beings often do the opposite. One rejection convinces them they're unworthy. One failure convinces them they're incapable. One betrayal convinces them no one can be trusted again. They let a single chapter define the entire book. Yet history has never remembered people because life was easy for them. History remembers those who transformed obstacles into the very reason they became extraordinary. Cleaners knew this better than anyone. Before leading the Stoic school, he spent his nights carrying heavy buckets of water through the streets just to pay for his education. While others slept, he worked. Many would have seen poverty as proof that life was against them. Cleaners saw something different. Every burden his hands carried was quietly strengthening the mind that would one day influence generations. Look at nature again. A pearl begins with an irritation. An oyster never chooses the grain of sand that enters its shell. It simply responds, layer after layer. What began as pain becomes beauty. The pearl isn't created despite the irritation, it exists because of it. The obstacle didn't interrupt the process, it became the process. This is the secret the modern world desperately tries to avoid. We're taught to remove difficulty as quickly as possible. The Stoics believed something far more powerful. Every hardship arrives carrying a hidden invitation, not to enjoy suffering, but to become someone suffering can no longer control. So the next time life places a wall in front of you, resist the urge to ask, how do I escape this? Instead ask, who could I become because of this? That single question may change the direction of your entire life, because sometimes the door you keep searching for doesn't exist. Sometimes life is waiting for you to become the person who no longer needs the door. Rule 5. Master the pause, or become a slave to every feeling. The greatest battles you'll ever fight won't be with your hands. They'll be fought in the space between what happens to you and how you choose to respond. That space is invisible. Most people never notice it exists. Life strikes and they react instantly. Someone insults them, and anger speaks before wisdom can breathe. Someone betrays them, and revenge becomes their first language. A single moment steals years of peace. Not because the moment was powerful, but because they surrendered the only thing that truly belonged to them, their response. The Stoics understood a truth modern life tries to ignore. Every emotion arrives like a visitor. It knocks on the door of your mind, asking to be heard. But emotions were never meant to be kings. They're messengers, not masters. Anger brings information. Fear brings caution. Grief reminds us of love. Yet the moment you let any emotion take control of your judgment, the messenger quietly climbs onto the throne and starts ruling your entire life. Imagine a calm mountain lake just before sunrise. The surface is so still, it reflects the sky perfectly. Every cloud, every star, every beam of light appears exactly as it is. Now throw a single stone into that water, the reflection shatters immediately. The sky itself hasn't changed. Reality remains exactly the same, only the surface has become disturbed. That's what emotion does to an untrained mind. The world doesn't distort, your perception does. And every decision made in disturbed water carries the distortion with it. Epictetus warned his students never to confuse an event with the story they immediately attach to it. Someone insults you, that's an event. Telling yourself your dignity has been destroyed, that's a story. You lose money, that's an event. Deciding your future is over, that's a story. A relationship ends, that's an event. Believing you're impossible to love, that's a story. Human suffering rarely begins with reality. It begins with the meaning we assign to reality before wisdom has had a chance to speak. That's why the Stoics trained themselves to pause. Not because they were slow or emotionless, but because they understood that the first impulse is often the voice of fear, pride, or wounded ego, not reason. The strongest mind isn't the fastest to react, it's the slowest to surrender. In that brief silence between stimulus and response, destiny quietly changes direction. Think of an archer before his target. Once the arrow leaves the bow, it can never be called back. Every careless word is exactly the same. Every angry decision, every impulsive action, once released, they begin a journey beyond your control. Entire friendships have died because of a sentence spoken in 10 seconds. Entire families have been broken by a decision made in one emotional evening. Entire lives have changed because someone refused to wait a single minute before acting. Time has a strange gift. It weakens emotion while strengthening clarity. The pause lets wisdom arrive before regret does. Nature has always understood this. A lion doesn't attack the moment it sees movement. It watches, it waits, it measures. All its power comes from disciplined patience, not restless urgency. The tallest trees survive violent storms because they bend before they break. The stars themselves move in perfect silence, never rushing, never forcing, never competing. Strength has never belonged to the loudest force. It's always belonged to the most controlled one. Marcus Aurelius carried the weight of an empire. Every day brought news of betrayal, rebellion, corruption, and death. He had endless opportunities to act out of anger, yet before governing Rome, he governed something infinitely more difficult, his own mind. He knew a ruler who can't command his emotions will eventually become their servant. The empire outside always reflects the empire within. Here's the tragedy of today. People mistake emotional intensity for authenticity. They say, "I just speak my mind. I just follow my feelings. This is who I am." But the Stoics would ask a different question. Are those feelings serving your highest self, or are they simply controlling you? Freedom isn't doing whatever you feel. Freedom is choosing which feelings deserve your obedience. So the next time life provokes you, resist the urge to prove your strength instantly. Instead, become still. Let your anger arrive without giving it a throne. Let fear speak without allowing it to make decisions. Let pride knock without opening the door. Every emotion becomes weaker the moment it realizes you won't obey it blindly. Anyone can react, anyone can shout, anyone can seek revenge. But only a disciplined soul can remain still while chaos demands a response. Silence has defeated more enemies than anger ever could, because the person who masters the pause no longer belongs to his emotions. His emotions begin to belong to him. Rule 6. Stop taking everything personally, and the world loses its power over you. There's a prison so invisible that millions live inside it their whole lives without ever realizing the door was never locked. Every insult becomes a wound. Every criticism feels like an attack. Every rejection feels like proof they aren't enough. They wake up each morning carrying the weight of opinions that don't belong to them, fighting battles that exist only inside their own minds. The tragedy isn't that people judge them. The tragedy is that they hand those judgments the authority to define who they are. The Stoics understood something that changes the entire relationship between you and the world. People don't see you as you are, they see you as they are. Every opinion passes through the filter of another person's fears, desires, insecurities, experiences, and wounds. The angry person finds enemies everywhere because anger lives inside him. The jealous person sees arrogance where none exists because envy has already distorted his vision. The dishonest person suspects betrayal in everyone because betrayal has become the language of his own character. Their judgment is rarely a mirror of you. More often, it's a mirror of themselves. Imagine standing before a still lake. If the water is clear, your reflection appears as it is. But disturb the water with mud, waves, or darkness, and your reflection suddenly looks twisted and broken. Did your face change? No, only the surface looking back at you changed. Human beings work the same way. When someone's mind is clouded by pride, resentment, or fear, they can't reflect reality clearly. Yet most people spend years trying to fix a reflection that was never accurate to begin with. Epictetus warned that if someone insults you, the insult itself has no power until you agree with it. An insult is nothing more than sound traveling through air. It becomes pain only after your mind accepts it as truth. That means the greatest part of suffering doesn't enter from the outside. It's quietly manufactured within. The world can throw words at you all day, but only you decide whether those words become chains or disappear like echoes in an empty valley. Marcus Aurelius ruled millions. Every decision he made created both admiration and hatred. Some called him the greatest emperor Rome had ever seen. Others called him weak, too harsh, too merciful. Imagine trying to satisfy all of them. It would be impossible. So he stopped trying. He realized that if one person calls you a hero, while another calls you a failure on the very same day, neither opinion can possibly define your worth. Truth cannot depend on the mood of the observer. Nature reveals this wisdom simply. The sun never shines differently because someone curses it. The mountain never lowers itself because travelers complain about the climb. The ocean never apologizes for its waves. They continue fulfilling their nature without negotiating with every passing opinion. Yet humans abandon their own path because of a stranger's sentence spoken in a moment of emotion. We let temporary voices interrupt permanent purpose. There's another truth hidden beneath this law, perhaps the most liberating of all. The people who hurt others most deeply are often revealing wounds they haven't healed themselves. A cruel person is rarely at peace. A bitter soul is usually carrying invisible pain. Someone desperate to humiliate others is often fighting silent battles with their own reflection. This doesn't excuse harmful behavior, but it changes how you respond. Compassion becomes possible where revenge once lived. Understanding replaces unnecessary hatred. Think of an old oak tree standing through every season. Children carve names into its bark. Storms tear away branches. Travelers rest in its shade without ever thanking it. Birds build nests, then fly away. Winter strips it bare. Spring clothes it in green again. Through all of it, the tree remains rooted in its own nature. It doesn't shrink because someone ignored it, and it doesn't grow because someone admired it. Its strength comes from its roots, never from applause. Ask yourself honestly, how many decisions in your life were made because you feared another person's opinion? How many dreams stayed unfinished because criticism arrived before courage? How many nights were lost replaying words spoken by people who had already forgotten them by morning? Imagine how much of your life could return to you if you stopped giving strangers permission to write the story of your identity. The Stoics never asked the world for approval. They asked themselves a far more difficult question each evening. Did I live according to my principles today? If the answer was yes, praise became unnecessary. If no, criticism from others became irrelevant, because the only judgment that truly mattered had already been delivered by their own conscience. The day you stop carrying every opinion others throw at you, the day you stop measuring your value by applause or rejection, the day you become rooted in character instead of reputation, that's the day the world loses one of its greatest weapons against you. No insult can break the person who no longer asks strangers to decide who he is. Rule 7. Character is what remains when everything else is taken. There comes a moment in every life when titles lose meaning, wealth becomes powerless, beauty fades, and the applause disappears. The people who once surrounded you suddenly find somewhere else to be. In that unbearable silence, life asks a question no achievement can answer. Without everything you have, who are you? Most people spend their lives building an identity that depends on things they were never meant to keep forever. They believe they are their success until failure arrives. They believe they are their reputation until someone spreads a lie. They believe they are their possessions until life takes them away. They build their souls on foundations time was always destined to destroy. Then one day the storm comes, not to punish them, but to reveal what was built on sand. The Stoics understood that the only possession life can never truly steal is character. Everything else is borrowed. Health, youth, influence, even the people you love, are gifts entrusted to you, not promises they'll remain forever, but courage, integrity, wisdom, justice, self-control. These are treasures no emperor can confiscate, no thief can steal, no tragedy can erase, unless you willingly surrender them yourself. Picture an ancient lighthouse during the darkest night of the year. Waves smash against its walls with unimaginable violence. Wind screams through the sky. Lightning tears the horizon apart. Ships vanish into the darkness. Yet the lighthouse doesn't chase the storm or beg the sea for mercy. It simply continues doing what it was built to do. It stands, it shines, it remains. The storm eventually passes. The lighthouse stays exactly where it has always been. That's what Stoic character looks like. Not loud, not attention-seeking, just quietly refusing to become something different, simply because life became difficult. Marcus Aurelius wrote his private thoughts surrounded by betrayal, plague, political corruption, and endless war. Yet among all those pages, he rarely asked how to control the empire before asking how to control himself. He knew a truth almost every generation forgets. A person who can't govern their own soul will eventually lose everything else they try to govern. Victory over the world is meaningless if you've already been defeated by your own desires. History keeps proving this. Some conquered kingdoms but were conquered by greed. Others built fortunes but were destroyed by pride. Some commanded millions yet became slaves to anger, pleasure, or fear. The world remembers their achievements, but it also remembers their collapse. Why? Because talent may earn admiration, but only character earns trust. And when history chooses who deserves to be remembered, it always places character above success. Nature whispers this truth constantly. The tallest tree in the forest isn't admired because it grew quickly. It's admired because it remained standing after seasons that destroyed everything around it. Every scar on its bark tells the story of a storm it refused to surrender to. The scars aren't signs of weakness, they're evidence of endurance. Human character is no different. Your deepest wounds don't reduce your value. Faced with wisdom, they become proof that life tested you and failed to make you abandon yourself. There's another truth hidden here, one so powerful, most people spend their lives running from it. Every decision you make when nobody is watching is quietly shaping the person you'll become when everybody is watching. Integrity is never built in public. It's forged in invisible moments. In the temptation nobody knows about. In the promise you keep when breaking it would be easier. In the truth you choose even when lying would protect your image. Character isn't created during extraordinary moments. Extraordinary moments simply reveal the character you've been building in ordinary ones. Ask yourself, if every title disappeared tomorrow, if every possession vanished before sunrise, if every person forgot your name, would there still be something inside you worthy of respect? The Stoics devoted their lives to making sure the answer would always be yes. They understood that the greatest achievement isn't becoming famous. It's becoming the kind of person who remains honorable even when no one is there to reward him. The world will always admire power, chase wealth, and celebrate victory. But time eventually strips every human being of those things. When that day comes, only one question will remain. Did you become a better human being, or did you simply become a more successful one? Rule 8. Remember death, and you'll finally learn how to live. There's a shadow that follows every human being from the moment of birth. It walks beside kings and beggars, philosophers and warriors, the rich and the poor. It never speaks, never hurries, and never forgets a single name. Most people spend their lives trying not to think about it, distracting themselves with noise, ambition, and endless activity. But the Stoics did something extraordinary. They turned toward that shadow and listened, not because they were obsessed with death, and not because they rejected life. They reflected on death because they loved life too deeply to waste it. They understood a truth modern people often forget. When you believe time is endless, you treat it carelessly. You postpone dreams, delay difficult conversations, and wait for the perfect moment that never arrives. In trying to protect life, you slowly forget to live it. Marcus Aurelius wrote these words to himself again and again. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, what you say, and what you think. This wasn't a message of fear, it was a call to clarity. Because when you remember that time is limited, trivial worries lose their power, petty arguments become meaningless, and the opinions of strangers grow silent. What remains is what has always mattered. Imagine a traveler walking through a vast desert as the sun moves toward the horizon. Every step becomes more valuable because he understands daylight isn't endless. He doesn't waste time wandering in circles or stopping for every distraction. He walks with purpose, knowing something precious is passing with every moment. Human life is no different. Every day feels ordinary until one day you realize it was part of your limited number. Seneca said, "It's not that we have a short life, but that we waste much of it." Think about how much time disappears into worry about things that never happen. How many hours are lost seeking approval from people who barely think about us? How many opportunities vanish because fear convinced us to wait? The tragedy of life isn't death itself. The tragedy is reaching the end and discovering you spent years existing without truly living. Nature teaches this quietly. Leaves fall every autumn, yet the tree doesn't resist the season. The sun sets each evening without sadness. Rivers flow toward the sea without fear of where the journey ends. Everything in nature accepts change, accepts endings, and continues fulfilling its purpose. Only human beings act as though life should be permanent. And because of that illusion, they suffer unnecessarily. The Stoics practiced memento mori. Remember that you must die. At first, those words sound dark, but hidden inside them is one of the most liberating ideas ever discovered. If your time is limited, then every moment becomes valuable. Every conversation matters. Every act of kindness matters. Every choice becomes meaningful. Death doesn't take value away from life. It gives life its value. Picture an ancient candle burning in a quiet room. It knows nothing of how long its flame will last. Yet it doesn't spend its time fearing the darkness. It simply gives light while it can. Humans often do the opposite. We spend so much energy fearing loss that we forget to shine. We postpone joy until success arrives. Postpone peace until circumstances improve. Postpone life itself, believing there will always be more time. But one day, without warning, time speaks. In that moment, wealth can't buy another hour. Power can't delay the inevitable. Fame can't negotiate with reality. The only thing that remains is the question, did you truly live? Did you become wiser, kinder, stronger, more courageous? Or did you spend your days chasing things time was always destined to take away? That's why the Stoics weren't afraid of death. They feared something far greater, reaching the end and realizing they'd never truly lived according to their values. They feared wasting the rare and beautiful gift of existence on anger, envy, distraction, and unnecessary fear. So remember this. You aren't guaranteed another year, another month, or even another day. This isn't a reason for sadness. It's a reason for awakening. Speak the words that matter. Build what's worth building. Become the person you know you can become. Because life isn't measured by how long it lasts, but by how deeply it's lived. Perhaps that's the final lesson of Stoicism. When you stop fearing the end, you stop delaying the beginning. When you remember that time is precious, you stop wasting it. And when you accept that life is temporary, you finally learn how to live forever through the character you leave behind. There's an old Stoic belief that every human dies twice. The first death comes when the body takes its final breath. The second death comes much later, when the last trace of your character disappears from the hearts and minds of those you touched. The Stoics were never concerned with avoiding the first death. They devoted their lives to making sure the second one never arrived. Now look back at the path you've traveled today. You've learnt that you can't control the storm, only the sail. That voluntary hardship forges a mind comfort can never create. That fear loses power when you face it before it arrives. That obstacles aren't interruptions, but invitations. That mastering the pause is greater than winning any argument. That another's opinion can't define your worth. That character is the only possession life can never steal. And finally, that remembering death is the very thing that teaches you how to live. These aren't ideas meant to impress someone in conversation. They're principles meant to transform the quiet moments of your life, the moments when nobody is watching, nobody is applauding, and nobody even knows the battle you're fighting. That's where real strength is born, not in public victories, but in private decisions. The world you return to after these words won't be different. Difficult people will still exist. Unexpected failures will still arrive. Storms won't ask permission before they appear. But if these laws take root inside you, something extraordinary will happen. The world may remain the same, but the person walking through it will never be the same again. Years from now, you probably won't remember every sentence you've heard today. But if you remember even one principle deeply enough to live it, these words will have done their job. Wisdom has never been measured by how much you know. It's always been measured by how much you become. So before you leave, ask yourself one final question. When life tests you tomorrow, will you react like the person you've always been, or will you respond like the person you've decided to become? If this journey shifted something inside you, don't let it end here. Write down which law spoke to you the most and why. Someone reading your words may find exactly the lesson they need today. If you seek deeper philosophy and practical principles that strengthen the mind instead of feeding the ego, keep walking this path. Until next time, protect your peace, master your mind, and remember, the strongest person in the room is rarely the loudest. It's the one who has learned to remain unshaken, no matter what life places in their path.